Okay, so one of the first things we're going to talk about is this nonsense right here. When everything in your world is amazing and mystical, nothing is. This is a fantasy art thing. And this is something I wanted to talk about because I saw it, and this is what they're turning fantasy into. Right? This is what it is. And people will be like, "Oh, what's wrong with it?" It's, you know, you got the angelic dude, and you've got like the dragon on top of the freaking thing, and you know, everybody's all kinds of got crazy shit all over them. And when everything is amazing and mystical, nothing is. That's half the point. But not only that, I definitely remember D&D being more of less of a barista and Starbucks corner street simulator and more of a rock and roll kill evil kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, heavy metal. There you go. Heavy metal. That's a good way to describe it. This is all D&D is anymore. No adventuring, no fighting monsters, delving into the depths of dungeons or other dangerous places. All the new artist is feasts and dance parties and generic socializing. Everything is overly fantastical as to take away all wonder and believability. They're trying to make D&D into what Star Trek is, right? That's what they're trying to do. Because that's what Star Trek does, is it takes amazing, fantastical technologies and it makes them simply mundane, and then you get to explore that world. And so that's what it feels like they're doing, and it's taking all the cool shit out of it. Yeah, it's all about various parasocialism. I don't know about vicarious parasocialism. I don't know about that necessarily, but I would say that it is something. It's like, this does not interest me, right? Even as someone who enjoys fantasy, the story that this picture invokes interests me not. You could have the same exact people, the same exact scene, but give me fire in the background. Give me meteors falling from the sky. I want a gigantic fucking dragon with a Githyanki riding it flying through the fucking background. That's the kind of shit I want, right? Like, seriously. Like, the only person that even looks anywhere near like they would be like be able to fight or something like that is this dude in the middle who looks like a half orc, I think. Maybe this guy, sorta, kinda, because he can fly, I guess. And it's not like you don't need to see, you know, tieflings or whatever, or, you know, dwarves. It's not that, or dragonkin. It's that in the vast majority of, and I think this is part of the reason they do this, is in the vast majority of the real world, racial differences are a big thing. And in the vast majority of D&D world, racial differences are a gigantically fucking magnificently gargantuan thing. This is why almost every single race by default is racist in like a D&D setting, is because they all live in their little corner of the realm, and they guard it ferociously because there are various other factions that are made up of various other races that will take their shit. And over centuries or millennia, you build up all kinds of like racial animus or racial bias that may be more innate than not. So this is the reason a lot of dwarves don't like fucking elves and a lot of the things. Yes, I know it's fucking tropey shit from Lord of the Rings, but you can actually understand why, because they're so diametrically different from one another that their simple act of existing next to one another will breed a type of distance or differentiation between the two, which isn't that bad if you write it correctly. Because it's like, this is the thing that kills me about not having racial strife in your settings, is that no one gets to analyze why racial strife is bad. No, we don't get to have stories where people overcome that kind of sense of thing, like Gimli and Legolas overcoming their mutual hatred for each other's races because they discover, oh, we're actually not so different. We both fight evil in different ways, but we're honorable warriors and we can respect that of one another. And then what that respect becomes is friendship. And that's how you build like community ties. It's just like they tried to do in Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power with Elrond and whatever the dwarf's name was. Like, that's how you make races not racist toward one another. when they were before, is that you have, you start with just two individuals who become friends. And that friendship shows other people, shows other dwarves, other elves that, well, I mean, if the prince has an elf friend, I mean, maybe they're not so bad, at least some of them, right? And the elves see, well, the dwarf prince is rather nice, and he's a bit blustery, but he's good for a dwarf. This is how all that shit like falls by the wayside. This is how societies overcome this, is by example. And this does not invoke any of that. They've already solved all this. This is why I said this is Star Trek. They've already solved all the racial strife problems. So all of the normal things that you could use for storytelling are not there. It really does feel like it's a Starbucks simulator kind of deal, rather than where and I just want to say this for the record. If your idea of adventuring in D&D is sitting around bullshitting in a tavern, telling stories and role-playing as that, more power to you. More power to you. If that's your game and that's the way you like to do it, good for you. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy my role play and all that other stuff too. A problem is that I want heavy metal. I want Ozzy Osbourne. I want, who the fuck am I? I'm thinking of something very Dio. I want fucking Dio, right? I want the rainbow in the dark, man. That's what I want, right? I want that badass edge that D&D has, that only D&D really has as far as fantasy goes, as far as I'm concerned, because it does get really dark, but it's also really good, and this doesn't evoke that at all. If this was like art in a game, and every other piece of art wasn't heavy metal with Black Sabbath and Dio vibes, then I'm probably not going to buy or participate in it, because it's not a thing for me. This is not this. As much as I joke about, like, let's join together in most glorious kumbayas, because I'm literally making fun of this shit when I do that. Like, we're all friends here, right? But this is not the dynamic. Like, this is normal, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. But it's not something that I necessarily want to participate in. Now, like I said, if every other piece of art that came along with this were Black Sabbath and Dio, maybe throw in a little Linkin Park and Papa Roach, I'm good to go, baby. And if you're wondering why I'm using bands, it's because it like invokes this like vibe, right? Where like Dio and Black Sabbath, it's fucking, it's heavy metal, it's rock and roll. It's, I want to fight demons with giant fucking swords that are have flaming ice coming off of them and shit. You know what I'm saying? Riding a fucking dragon through a time portal. Yeah, basically. Baldur's Gate 3 is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Because as much as Baldur's 3 has through stupid shit like this in the game, where you can literally walk around and just talk and, be a good person and all this other nonsense, the trailer is literally a gigantic spaceship that has tentacles coming off of it and dragons with riders destroying it. If that ain't fucking rock and roll, I don't know what is, right? If that ain't rock and roll, I don't know what is. And I think, oh yeah, here we go. Old fantasy art. Yeah, here you go. That's heavy metal right there, dude. Look at that shit. That is, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, was it the Archangel Michael stabbing the devil while he's standing on top of him? That's what that reminds me of. It's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good. The wings are fucking crazy. Oh yeah, dude. Warcraft. This is what Warcraft used to look like, man. This is what Warcraft used to be. Do what I mean? About the just look. Look at the difference. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Is that on this one? Yeah. Is there any more? Any more of that good art? That's great. That's a good meme. Now, it's literally like the funny thing is this guy's not wrong. This guy's not wrong. If you took this scene right here, and then the next thing you see is a dragon burning it the fuck down, that's exactly the kind of evocative, oh, we have this peaceful society and this chaos driven enemy has come to burn it all down. Like, this is what you fight for, not what you want to play as. If you get what I'm saying. Because it is kind of funny, because when you think about it, this is the kind of thing I'd want for my kids. This is the kind of thing I want for me and my wife. I want to live here, but I don't want to play D&D there. I want to play D&D in the ashes of this place that was burned down by this guy. Right? Because, yeah. And I think a lot of it just has to do with how I perceive games, and I think a lot of dudes are with me on this. And it is and to be fair, it probably is a lot of dude stuff. It, like, this art. Why do you think this art was written this way? Why do you think there's a woman's ass right here? Like, it's because this was made for boys, right? Absolutely, 100% made for boys. Oh my God, look at that. Is that Warcraft as well? I can't exactly tell. Is that old school Warcraft? The orcs and the horns kind of look like it is, but the humans do not. Their armor doesn't look big enough. Anyway, this is the kind of thing that if I saw a video game or a thing I might be interested in, if they had this artwork, I'd be more likely to buy it, because this is what I'm in for, right? This is Rainbow in the Dark right here, right? If you know Dio and you know the song I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I want Crazy Train. I want Rainbow in the Dark. I want Holy Diver. I want I want what those things evoke in you, that same emotion, but I want it in D&D. And I think a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people who grew up doing fantasy stuff agree with me. But I mean, if this is the direction they want to go, they're just going to have to deal with the fact that their core audience, people like me, I'm not gonna participate in things that are not made for me as part of the audience, right? Because there are things that are not made for me. Like, for instance, I used to really like the original Powerpuff Girls back in the day, and that shit came out when I was a teenager, right? I was in college, and my girlfriend at the time told her, like, sister and her parents when they went to dinner that I really liked Powerpuff Girls, and they all laughed and asked if I was gay. And obviously she had to, be like, no, he's not, and he proved it. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm not the core audience for the Powerpuff Girls. I'm certainly not, but I really enjoyed it because it had like this weird juxtaposition of edge and like cutesiness that I thought was very compelling. Right? It was very, very funny as well, and relatively mature for it being like three fucking. I don't even remember how old they were, or how old they were supposed to be anyway. It reminded me of like stuff I used to watch as a kid, and throw in a little bit of old school Superman in there, and it drew me in. And the fact that they were fucking cutesy little girls was just kind of like, well, what the fuck are you going to do, right? What the fuck are